Hello, students. If you're watching this, that means that you are working hard to understand something and that you need a little more work on understanding the difference between an argument, which is the author's position on a subject, understanding their claims, which is the reasons they give for that argument, their position, and also understanding how their specific details support their reasons, which lead us into understanding their argument. Because remember, the whole point of having this argument is so that you win or you convince someone to believe or think what you're thinking. So the first thing I wanted to do is show you this little box that I just learned how to do this as a teacher. And I wanted to make sure that you knew how to fill it in because we had a lot of missing questions. And the day before, or I should say the last Friday when you guys filled it out, you seem to know. So right here, specific details that prove the claim. Specific is your clue. Those are the facts, the minute details, and details are going to be your evidence. Those are going to be the things that truly convince your reader, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, you might be right. The author's position, remember that's where they stand on a topic. That is the actual thing they're arguing about. That's argument. So basically, you just kind of do a little grid check. And then finally, reasons author gives to explain the position. Those are going to be their claims. Okay? Second question. I will not help you with this one because this is something you need to be able to do on your own. And the majority of you, I think we had 3 people answer this one. Answer the incorrect one. I just gave that away, didn't I? Also, I was actually very impressed with the number of people that had number 3 correct. And it says, in what paragraph does the author explicitly state their position on the topic of exploring, which was their argument? And what I need you to do is actually go to the textbook. Again, it is in your daily assignments. And it actually says Unit 5 Launch Text, or it says Launch Text Student Edition. And if you click on that in the Google Classroom and then click on the book underneath it, it will take you right to the passage. Remember, you'll need to close out the picture so that you can see more of the text at a time. But I want you to go and see, where does the author, and explicit means, just like on your music, if you see an E, it means explicit. X means out, the outside of your car, exterior of your car. The way that you exit a building, you go out of the building through an exit. So X actually means out. So it means that the author comes right out and tells you what their position is. Sometimes they imply it. And yesterday in class, I used the example that if your mom, if you get home from school and your mom's real mad at you and she's got her hands on her hips and she's tapping her foot and she's like, somebody left dishes in the sink, and she's looking at you, she doesn't have to say explicitly, hey, you left dishes. She's implying that with her body language and the fact that she's asking you in that tone. But explicitly means that the author comes right out and tells you exactly. So look for a paragraph or look for the sentence where it actually tells you this is what they believe. Number 4, I wanted you to look at, remember we talked about how a claim is a very general idea, kind of overarching, whereas an evidence is details. So if you look at these 2 here, these are the author's reasons, so that we're looking for a general statement. The ocean might help us solve tough problems. For example, it might lead to new food sources for the planet's growing population. It may also find us ways to slow damage to the environment. Hopefully you're looking at this being like, oh, this one right here, the ocean might help us solve tough problems. That's very general. So you might say, okay, what problems? And that's what your details do, though. They answer questions like this. And this says, well, it could lead to new food sources. And then you're like, oh, I didn't know that. That's great. That's a great detail. It may find us ways to slow damage to the environment. Oh, now this one I'd probably say what, but at least it's a little bit more specific than the tough problems. Tough problems is a very, the environment goes under there, the food sources go under there. So again, this would be your best choice. Lastly, in paragraph 6, the author makes the claim that there is much more to explore in space as another reason. And then what you're having to evaluate is, what's the strongest piece of evidence? So think to yourself, which one would convince you? Would it be that, oh, well, we should explore space because, well, everybody's curious about it? Okay, that may be true. We're curious about the stars and planets and the possibility that they hold other intelligent life. Now, what you should be becoming as an older reader is, okay, those 2 things just sounded alike. So a good test-taking strategy, if you've got things that are pretty much the same, it's probably not those answers. And again, if you look at the last one, that confirms what hopefully you're thinking. According to NASA, and this just means that I didn't actually come right out. I left some words out, and what I left out was the actual National Space and Aeronautics Space Academy, whatever it is. I cannot think of it right now. That's going to bother me. Anyway, space exploration pushes us to expand technology, create new industries, and help foster peaceful connection. So if you look at that, it's a lot more detailed. Okay? So what I want you to do is open up the redo. It's redo for assignment number 5, and I want you to rock it out. Okay? Have a great day. See you soon.